Hey there, before we begin, if you are building or working on products in any form, you need to hear this. The floodgates are open. AI isn't just transforming the tools used by product managers, designers, and engineers. It is reshaping how products are made, how fast they're built, what teams look like, and who really calls the shots inside companies. On the 26th of July, at the Bangalore International Centre, the Ken's Beyond the First Order event returns for its fourth edition. We'll dive into the real, messy, and exhilarating transformation playing out inside India's startups and organizations. How are product cycles evolving when AI can write the code, generate ideas, and even make decisions? Which teams are gaining influence and which ones are being edged out? What tools are winning and who is resisting? You will hear from some of India's top product minds. Kailash Nath of Zerodha, Somideep Mukherjee of Dashtun, Akash Anand of Cluso, and Sidhu Punnappa, founder of the AI native startup RealFast. This time, in addition to the live event, we will also be live streaming it. Details about the tickets and the live stream are in the show notes. And now, back to the episode.
On June 23rd, Ola Electric stock hit an all-time low, closing at 43 rupees a share. It was the second time in a month that someone offloaded a significant stake in the company through a block deal. It was clear at the time that the market seemed to be losing faith. This week, though, the stock jumped nearly 20% in a single day, closing around 47 rupees. And on paper, that's a solid bounce. But let's be honest, it is still far below the IPO price of 76 rupees and over 70% off its post-listing peak. Yet, on the company's earnings call recently, founder Bhavish Agarwal struck a completely different tone. He insisted that all was well. Thanks to rise gross margins and cost-cutting measures, Ola would hit EBITDA break-even at 25,000 units a month. And that, he said, would put the company firmly on the path to profitability. Well, one look at Ola's financials and the gap between Agarwal's optimism and reality becomes very difficult to ignore. For the year ended March 2025, Ola sales volumes were down. Revenue? Well, it was down nearly 10% to about 4,600 crore rupees. Losses, meanwhile, well, up over 40%, hitting about 2,300 crore rupees. One market analyst we spoke to said things could get worse. Its stock price could even drop to zero. And that's because the company's cash flows have turned precariously negative. In FY25 alone, Ola's cash flows from operation was deep in the red, negative 2,391 crore rupees. That's nearly 4 times worse than the year before. Why? Well, a combination of mounting operating losses and sales volume that just didn't grow the way the company had hoped. And yet, despite all of this, Ola's management remains confident. The company's board approved a resolution to raise up to 1,700 crore rupees through non-convertible debentures and other debt securities. The idea is to refinance existing debt obligations. The thing is, it's going to take a lot more than that. Because today, Ola Electric Mobility is finding itself in a deeper hole than ever before. Hello and welcome to Daybreak, a business podcast from the Ken. I'm your host Rahil Philippos, and I don't chase the news cycle. Instead, every day of the week, my colleagues Snigdha Sharma and I will come to you with one business story that is worth understanding and worth your time. Today is Wednesday, the 16th of July. You probably remember the headlines when Ola first listed. Bhavish Agarwal proudly declared that the company had intentionally slashed its IPO valuation. He said he wanted to leave money on the table for public market investors, banking on that classic listing day pop. Well, it popped all right, just not in the direction that he had hoped for. Years of overpromising and underdelivering had finally caught up with Ola. In earlier private fundraisers, the projections were rosy, but reality didn't quite keep up. So when it came to the list, Ola needed a quick cash boost. The company settled for a 25% valuation cut and spun that as a big win. Bhavesh called it attractive for public market investors, a virtue made out of necessity. But even then, the valuation fell short of what investors had once hoped for. The stock did end up surging right after listing, only to crash right after. Today, the company's valuation has dropped from about $4 billion post its IPO to less than $2.5 billion. Ola has also managed to fall far behind its competitors, the likes of TVS Motors and Bajaj Auto. It once commanded nearly 50% market share, but today it accounts for just 1 in 5 electric two-wheelers on the road. In the first fortnight of June alone, the company sold about 7,000 vehicles, while TVS and Bajaj collectively sold over thrice as many. In the preceding 2 months, Ola couldn't clock even 20,000 vehicles. That's slightly lower than the 25,000 monthly units it expects to break even at. The point is, Ola's troubles aren't just piling up, they're accelerating. In early May, ratings agency ICRA downgraded the debt of Ola Electronic Technologies, or OET. That's the company's main operating subsidiary, the one responsible for most of its revenue, operations, as well as its losses. And that downgrade is only adding to the group's debt troubles. Stay tuned. You will spend 90,000 hours at work over your lifetime. Let that sink in for a second, because that's more time than you're going to spend with your family or even your closest friends. So the real question is this: how do you make that time count? I'm Rahil Philippos, and this is 90,000 Hours, a podcast about work and how it's changing faster than ever before.
The big question is, are you best in class in your use of AI? And the challenge, by the way, which I will fully address head on, is that the best in class definition also changes every single day, almost every single hour.
From artificial intelligence replacing entry-level jobs to how the rules of entrepreneurship are fundamentally changing. This show is for anyone trying to stay relevant as the world of work transforms.
I've been a founder as well. I've done 75 failed pitches before I got any money for Dr. Ideas. And I didn't like that power dynamic, honestly. And as a VC, I do my best to break that power dynamics.
We are not doing right by our students because in school and college, we are teaching stuff that has no relevance to what happens outside. And that means that the system is broken.
Join me as I talk to founders, investors, educators, and employees, the people rewriting the rules of work, to help you make the most of your 90,000 hours. Debuting on 22nd July, new episode every other Tuesday, wherever you get your podcasts. The ratings downgrade has real consequences. It means Ola will likely have to pay higher interest rates on the $195 million it now plans to borrow. And this isn't new territory. Between March 2022 and 2024, Ola Electric's borrowings tripled to about 2,400 crore rupees. That's more than its 1,700 crore rupees in cash and bank balances. Then, just before the IPO, the company took on another 700 crore rupees in debt. This time at much steeper interest rates. We're talking 13 to 14% compared to 9 to 10% earlier. So higher risk, higher cost, and the pressure keeps mounting. Now, that points to just one thing: a funding gap that urgently needs filling. And Ola Electric Technologies wasn't just borrowing more. According to the company's own IPO documents, it had already breached certain financial thresholds tied to one of its loan agreements. And that's not a great look, especially for a company promising profitability just around the corner. Now, that's why Ola wanted to use as much as 800 crore rupees of the 5,500 crore fresh issue proceeds from its IPO towards repaying its subsidiaries' debt. So the plan was clear: a quick public equity issue, even with a sharp cut, to ease the strain and borrowings, even at a high cost, to bridge the gap before that. But cut to March 2025. Ola Electric had about 4,000 crore rupees in cash and equivalents and around 3,000 crore in debt. Does that sound comfortable? Well, not quite. Of that 4,000 crore rupees in cash, nearly 2,800 crore rupees came from the IPO. And it's not exactly free to use. That money is earmarked for specific purposes: capital expenditure by Ola Cell Technologies, research and development, and other organic growth initiatives. And here's the kicker. Despite winning bids to produce advanced batteries under the government subsidy scheme, Ola still has very little to show in terms of actual production. In effect, that's only about 1,200 crore rupees available to service existing debt. The planned 1,700 crore rupees raised through debt securities just about covers that gap. But it doesn't take into account Ola's ballooning interest payments. By March 2025, these were worth 366 crore rupees. That's almost double the previous year. More debt at a higher interest rate will only add to the burden on the company. And that's a burden it doesn't seem ready to bear at the moment. At a negative 1,600 crore rupees, Ola's EBITDA went from bad to worse in FY25. Simply put, the heavily loss-making company didn't even make enough money to pay interest on loans last year. A situation that will likely get exacerbated this fiscal year with weak volumes, at least so far. With cash flows from operations likely to remain negative, Ola seems to have little choice but to raise big debt to keep the show going and stave off potential insolvency proceedings. The fact that Ola is already looking to borrow again, less than a year after its IPO, suggests that the cash crunch is only getting worse. That big public issue, that was a lifeline. But if things don't turn around soon, well, what's going to save the company this time?
Daybreak is produced from the newsroom of The Ken, India's first subscriber-focused business news platform. What you're listening to is just a small sample of our subscriber-only offerings. A full subscription unlocks daily long-form feature stories, newsletters, and podcast extras. Head to theken.com and click on the red subscribe button on the top of the website. Today's episode was hosted by Rahil Philippos and edited by Rajiv CN.